welcome back to my channel. I'm going to show you a lovely rainbow eyeshadow look for Pride while talking about Pride and its origins and the situation in India. Let's go. I'm just going to start with my eyebrows. So I've moisturized and everything, so my skin is quite like smooth and like creamy. But for eyebrows, I kind of have to dust a little bit with my powder so that it's get like too slick when I apply the product, because the natural oils kind of make the product move around. So I never really thought when I would make this makeup channel that I would be talking about anything political, anything dividing. I thought it would just be a pure makeup channel. I believe in the rights of all people, irrespective of their sexual orientation or how they choose to identify themselves or gender. And since it is Pride Month, I thought this would be a good time to talk about it and also talk about India and what is the situation here and what are the different changes that have happened. I'm going to put on links below which will explain it much better than I will. I'm not claiming to know enough. So I'm just brushing my eyebrow hairs upward just to see where all the gaps are, and then I'm going to fill them in. I'm just taking my small mirror because I can go up close. And now taking the product side, I'm just going to fill it in. I think for me, I've always kind of stood up for people who were being teased or, I don't know, just picked on for being different. I just thought that was so strange because it didn't make any sense to me. It didn't make sense to pick on anyone anyway. And I really hated bullying. And it's probably because I stood up for other people, or like I just generally stood up for what I thought was right was where I got in turn bullied. So I have been considered weird or considered different, and just the idea that who you love can make people so viscerally angry is just insane to me. It doesn't make any sense. It's like nobody stops you from loving who you want or being who you are. So why must you stop another person? Therefore, when I read up a little bit more, knew a little bit more about sexuality and orientation, it didn't take me time to understand it. I just completely understood it. It was like I just went to that place of it's love. It's like how would I feel if someone told me not to love the person that I love? It's so natural for human beings to love, right? And then be told no, that love is wrong, that love is bad, when it affects you in no way at all. And I like how they will discount people, or people will be anti people who have an orientation or gender that they don't quote unquote understand. But all of the things that you have gained from the gay community is something you just take for granted and enjoy. Think of art, think of music, think of makeup. If you have ever done contour, if you have overlined your lips, if you put lashes, if you put a strong setting spray, that is from drag queens. And I think there's so much television out there, and even if you're just one of those people who are curious or want to know, there's so much television out there that you can just watch and understand. And even if everyone around you in a room doesn't agree, you can be different. You can be the one to stand up and say, hey, wait, no, persecution in any form is bad. Oh. And for me, I think I have to thank the community for so much in my life. Even the fact that I had the confidence to make a YouTube channel or to post things, I was nervous to do it. I was like, who do I think I am? Like, to put up makeup videos and put up things. I'm not like this most supermodel looking person. I'm not beautiful. But then when you watch shows like RuPaul's Drag Race and they were like looking so beautiful and they have the confidence to just kill it, it makes me feel confidence as a woman. Seeing them and then being like, wait, I can be confident too. And like what RuPaul said, the power that you have in drag, you possess the outsider. And so the power or the happiness or the empowering feeling I feel when I put on makeup, I can feel even when I'm out of makeup, and therefore I can have the confidence to post whatever I want and not give a damn about what people think. So it's all of this has come from that community who's so proud of who they are. That's why it's called pride. It's like, I'm here, I'm queer, just deal with it, And it's lovely to see support. And the more you support, the more families will support and feel comfortable and proud of and they should, of their children. In regard to June being celebrated as Pride Month, it's because there was a series of riots and public demonstrations known as the Stonewall Riots in response to a police raid that began in the early morning hours of June 28, 1969, at the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village of Manhattan, New York City. Patrons of the Stonewall, other village lesbian and gay bars, and neighborhood street people fought back when the police became violent. The riots are widely considered to constitute one of the most important events leading to the gay liberation movement and the 20th century fight for LGBT rights in the United States and now the world. A year after the uprising, to mark the anniversary on June 28, 1970, the first gay pride marches took place in New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Okay, so now I'm going to go on the eyes. It's a very colorful look. So what I'm going to do is I want a really clear surface. So I'm going to apply concealer all over my eyes. And for that, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade 30 Honey. And I'm just going to go ham like all over my eyelid. Normally, I don't put concealer all over my eyelid because I kind of work with the colors I have on my eyelid. But since we want them to really pop, I'm just going. So what I was talking about earlier, so when it comes to India, traditionally, if you want to go back as to what, everyone has their own definition of what traditionally is, but like in old mythology or religion, there were many instances where homosexuality was accepted, where all genders were accepted. And even Khajuraho temples show homosexuality, and even the Kama Sutra talks about it. So it's not new. A lot of people like to act like people turn gay, or it's this new phenomenon like spoiled by the West. That's not true. It's actually completely the opposite. It's when in the 1800s, England started ruling India, that their laws, their Puritan laws, started being applied to us. So the Indian Penal Code was brought into force in India in 1860, and many of those laws still apply today, and many are still archaic. So, for example, you might have heard about Section 377. So, Section 377 was brought in 1860 and continued till the date that it was set aside by the Supreme Court. So, Delhi High Court initially in 2009 had read the section down and said that homosexuality between two consenting adults, the sexual act, is perfectly legal. Now I'm going to set this with my Fit Me powder. But when the matter went up to Supreme Court, the judgment was set aside. Therefore, the section was held to be valid, so homosexuality was criminalized again. But it was in 2018, on 6 September, where the Supreme Court looked at the section and reading into constitutional provisions, and it set aside Section 377 to the extent that sex between two consenting adults is perfectly permissible. It's a very beautiful judgment. I'll put the link below. So if we were to have a Pride Month in India, I would suggest September because that's the date of that judgment. But we can do June because in other parts of the world they celebrate it. So now I'm going to go into colors. I'm going to start with glittery eyeshadow in the inner corners and then go into mattes the outer side. So I'm using this NK birthday cake palette, and I'm going to be going in with this purple color now. And I'm going to be taking a brush like this, a little pointed one, because I'm going to be putting it in the inner corners. Now before I start with this brush, I'm going to wet it I'm done with purple and now I'm going to move to blue. So I'm going to go back in with this palette. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this matte color first and then go over with this like shimmery, these two shimmery blues. So for a matte color, I'm taking a brush like this and I'm just putting a little bit on product. Okay, I totally forgot, but because I'm going to be putting a lot of colors, I really think I should put like a little bit of tape down so that I get the perfect angle that I want. I know it looks crazy, but at least my eyeshadow will be like neat or something. It looks crazy. If it looks crazy to you, you should see how crazy it looks to me because I can actually see the pink in the periphery. So I'm going with the blue matte color and I'm just placing it a little into the purple. Now that I've put that, I'm going to go in with a brush like this to put the shimmer color on. This blue-green matte base that I put is great because when I put green over it, it'll also pop really nicely. I don't have like a huge palette which has like all the colors. I'm mixing a lot of palettes together, but you don't need to get all these palettes. You can just like get a super colorful one, like I have a lot of them, and then you get all your rainbow fantasy colors. And you know how trends come back, so like in the early 2000s, when I was a child, it was really like in to be really colorful, and I always like colorful stuff. So when I got into makeup, it was all about the nudes and the contour and the bronzer. I kind of missed color. I would sneak in a color a little bit here and there. And like in India, you can do that because you can go for a wedding and then have like matching. And bam, we have a little bit of blue. And now onto our green. So I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. And I'm going to be taking this green color. Yeah, I'm using a lot of palettes right now. But don't worry about it. You don't need to do that. I'm taking this brush, which I used to apply the matte. I'm not making it like perfect, like straight lines because I don't think a rainbow looks like that. I mean, flag does, but I'm kind of making it like this lovely like rainbow. Same thing on the other side. I really love this green, and I'm so happy I decided to do this look because now I have like this green color that I didn't know I would love so much. So beautiful. I'm going a little bit above into the crease. I'll show you a really fun thing. I think the trick to this look is just to make both eyes look even. Because when you're doing like basic colors, you're just mixing up like 2-3 colors, which are pretty close to skin tone. It's never really an issue. Now I'm going to go in with matte colors. So I'm going to go with yellow, orange, red. And so I'm going to be taking my Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions. And it has a lovely yellow. It's yellow right here. And I'm going to be taking like this. You can take this or take a bigger one. I'm going to start with the small one and then move it to the bigger one when I'm doing like the darker colors. So I'm going to take this yellow, it's a matte yellow, a little bit over the green. So I'm taking yellow from the green right into the tape. And for mattes to pop, I kind of feel like you have to put a lot. So this is a very proper yellow. but I'm going to be taking a little bit of this birthday cake like mustard yellow as well. It's generally just like the color. So not right at the green, but a little away, I'm going to start building up that mustard color. I'm going to move it closer to the green. So it's already starting to pop. I'm happy with the build up here. I'm going to go on to the other eye and do the same thing. Okay, and now we're going to go to orange. So luckily Coral Obsessions has a lot of pretty orange colors you can see from the cover. I am going to go into matte colors, so I am taking this color and this color, marrying them together. And for that, I'm going to be taking the bigger brush here, and it's just, I want to say there's a method to madness, but I'd be like, so I'm just going to go in. The rainbow is coming together. So I'm just popping into both those colors just to remove the excess. And just, now here you have to be really careful you don't make the yellow disappear. Now for the tough part, which is red. This birthday cake has like this darkish red, which I'm going to use. And yeah, I'm going to be using this brush. And I have to be really careful that I don't make the yellow and orange disappear. I'm just going to put this there. I'm also going to be using a little bit of the red that comes here. Now that I have put all the rainbow colors, I'm going to do something really fun, which is take the soft coal kajal liner pencil from Rimmel, and I'm just going to draw a line. And just wipe off whatever colors come on pencil with tissue. And do the same. Don't worry if it's a little messy. Going back in with this brush, and I'm just blending that. Now I'm going to put liner. I'm going to be using my L'Oreal Lash Cut eyeliner. I'm just going to align those with the okay, ink seems to be running out. So I'm going to take my colossal liner, and I'm just going to now I'm going to take my tape. Let's see. Ooh, I really like it. I mean, there's a little bit of like fallout, so I'm gonna wipe that out. Do the rest of the face. I'm gonna go back in with the white pencil and just kind of like I don't want it there. I just want it to kind of be there, you know. So now going on to the rest of the face, and for that I'm going to be using two foundations. This is the Maybelline Fit Me and the Superstay 24 Hours, because I like how both these colors look on my skin. This is kind of on like a cool side, this kind of warm side, and together they work well. And serum, and dot. I am going to put a little around my mouth because I want to blur my lip line. Today I'm going to overdrop this. I mean, I can't really talk about drag queens without a little bit of fun drag makeup as well. I'm taking a damn beauty blender. I'm taking, this has like a flat side. I'm gonna take it, but I just have to be careful around where I put the eyeshadow. So I'm happy with the foundation. I am gonna go in with the concealer I had used for my lids, but just take a really little, just here, and keep it small. So one of the basics of makeup is to, not that I've always followed it, but it is to put the liquid products first on your skin and then go in with powder products. So I'm going to go in with blush. This is my Glossier Dusk Dark Paint. Since my eyes are really colorful, I'm going to go for like a neutral kind of like dusty rose on my cheeks and lips. So I've just taken about this much. This is my go-to blush. I use it all the time. So I'm going to smile my cheeks and just spread out. I don't know if there's something in this that makes it cooling, but definitely. I also like the sun-kissed look, so I'm putting a little bit on my nose. I don't need to put too much of this because I'm going to put a powder blush, which I've been loving lately, over this. So one last step for the eyeshadow is I'm going to go back in with this purple, and I'm going to take a little bit of the Maybelline Master Chrome metallic highlighter in gold. It's really messy, so I'm not showing you, but if you just Google it. I have this thing where I like to put a little bit of the highlighter that I'm using in my eyeshadow. So I'm going to take a little bit of that gold, and it's mixed in a little bit with the purple, and I'm just going to place it in the center. It just makes it pop. Great. Now I'm going to use Master Chrome as a highlighter. It's cream to powder, so I'm using it before I use my blush. So I'm taking a little bit, swirling this brush like this around. So I'm going to go in with the powders now. I'm going to be taking a brush like this. Just go into my Pick Me powder and just put that under my eyes to set my eyes. I can also dust off any fallout that's there that I don't want, and tone down the highlighter if required. And now I'm going to go in with blush. So I really love this flower blush in Flower Pots powder blush. It's Sweet Pea. It's a lovely dusty rose and will go amazingly with my lipstick. Blush is looking amazing. Now I'm going to go in with contour powder. I'm just using the brush that comes with it and just carving out the cheek. Okay, so my face is pretty much done. I'm going to go in for lips. And for that, I'm going to start with a very like basic brown lip liner. It's the Lipstone Line Chocolate Boy, and I'm just going to line my lips, but I'm kind of going to overline them. I'm just going on the little outer, just outside of my lip. It's so subtle, but for me it's like wild. Crazy. Now I'm going to go into my favorite lipstick. It's the Fenty Beauty in the shade Unpuffed. Now I'm going to wait for this second layer to dry before I do anything else. Meanwhile, I'm going to tightline my eyes because I forgot to do that. And I'm going to apply mascara. I'm going to be using the Lash Paradise L'Oreal. Now that my lips are dry, I'm going to be using the first lipstick I ever used, which is the Maybelline Hooked on Pink. Now I'm taking a really light pink nude liquid lipstick and just placing that in the center of my lip, so on the lower and upper part of my lip, and I'm just going to blend that out with my finger. Now for the setting spray, which goes a long way, just to finish up the look. This is my rainbow look for Pride. Also stand up, be an ally, and I hope you guys like this video. It's just a little speck in just showing my support, and happy Pride!